Hello, welcome to today's webinar on Perl Programming Part 1. Presenter for this session is Mr. Raghava Thej, and during all this session, all the attendees are put in the mute mode. And if you have any questions or queries, then feel free to post it on chat window. So Raghava will address the same at the end of the presentation. This webinar is being recorded and available offline on our YouTube channel. So now over to you, Raghava.
So today's session, I will be covering Perl basics. I have split this session into two halves. One is part 1, Perl basics part 1, and Perl basics part 2. So today in Perl basic part 1, we will be covering what is necessary for learning Perl. That is, what are the syntaxes and how to write simple programs. And we'll be demonstrating and hands-on, since I have used virtual machine, and I will be using Red Hat 6 and the Perl already installed in Red Hat 6. So here, so now let us start the session. So what is Perl? Perl stands for Practical Extraction and Report Language. So it is a well-versed language or a scripting language that is used worldwide in VLSI design, during VLSI design, for automation and for better scripting. That is, for example, you have some report files or any other files that you want certain patterns or to be extracted from a file and copied to a new file. Then we use scripting languages like Perl. So what exactly is Perl, and what we are dealing with today is more towards scripting. So as we already know that Perl is an open source software, that is, it is available for free, and the Perl was created by Larry Wall. So he has graduated from UC Berkeley University and he has developed this software. So how different is it, Perl, compared to C, C++ or our semiconductor hardware descriptive languages like Verilog or VSDL? So here, now we start over the comparison between Perl and C. So let us take C. C is a strongly typed language. So whereas Perl is a loosely typed language. And the advantage of C is that you can go for a complex programming, and it can be extended to Java or C++ or data structures. But whereas for Perl, you can do the complex programming or complex scripting to achieve the required result with minimal code, and whatever the code we have written will be optimized. So also one more thing I would like to tell is that for learning Perl, the best books that we can suggest is the Basic Perl Programming by Larry Wall, and Intermediate Perl Programmer by Larry Wall again, and Perl Pro or Perl Expert by Larry Wall. So these are the three books that are created by Larry Wall or written by Larry Wall. So you can refer these books, and you can see that on every Perl book there is a camel logo. So why exactly they have used camel logo? Is there any significance as to why they have specifically chosen camel and not any other animal? So the reason behind is that as the name suggests, Perl, why they have used this logo, because it looks dirty but it works beautifully on worst environment, as like camel, where the camel may be looking a little bit shabby or dirty, but in the desert environment it is going to work, or it is going to run smoothly. So it is the same way or same synonym we can tell that Perl, although it may be a little bit dirty, its use or how it merges with Unix, it does beautifully, and we can script in a very efficient manner. So this is the basics, or this is the introduction about Perl. So how we can differentiate exactly with C or C++ is Perl is an interpreter actually. So what is exactly an interpreter is that, so we need not convert our we need not compile our code and generate a machine level code, because say for example C, how we have to run a C program, or how the machine understands is that first we compile that, so then it will be converted to machine code. But whereas Perl, you don't have any such facility. So because of that, it acts as an interpreter, and it doesn't require any compilation. Although it requires, it checks for errors and warnings. Directly you can compile the stage, and directly it will be converted into hex code. So in that way, it will run. It will be then understood by the machine easily as and when the program runs. So that's why Perl is a great interpreter. And next, what are the environment it is going to work? So Perl is available on wide variety of platforms, that is especially on Unix like Solaris, Linux, FreeBSD, or IBM AIX, or HP UX, Sun OS, or IRIX. And especially in Linux, we have distributions for Perl in Red Hat, Ubuntu, and Fedora. You can as well work in Perl on Windows and Mac OS or Macintosh. So how do we install Perl if you don't have inbuilt Perl interpreter? So you can download any Perl star.gz, that is a zip file from Google, and you can download that, and you can untar it using the command tar-xzf. So then it will create a directory called Perl. Say if you have some certain version called 5.1.3 or something, so you can enter into the directory, and there will be having some config file. So you just have to execute that config file, and then using the make file you have to give make test and make install. In that way your Perl binaries will be installed in /user/bin directory. And if you are not comfortable with Linux or Unix, you can work as well with Windows. But here there is a separate software that we have to use. I have personally used software called Strawberry Perl, wherein you can use the command cmd command from Windows, and you can execute these scripts. So in that way you can work both on Linux as well as Windows. So it's the best way to learn scripting, and the more importantly, we can work with VLSI reports or any other automation that you want to do using Perl scripts. So one word I would like to put forward before moving for the core Perl syntaxes and the languages is that where exactly the Perl is used in VLSI industry or semiconductor industry, and how the students or professors or research persons are going to improve, or how it is going to help them in VLSI design. So as we all know that in semiconductor industry, it is day to day growing from to lower technology nodes. So currently the technology node may be 14 nanometer or 10 nanometer, and the devices that they are going to use are FinFETs. So the most important process in any flow, that is RTL to GDS flow, is first we have to take care of how do we code. So after that, next we go for synthesis. Then after that, next comes physical design. So especially Perl's use can be best seen in physical design. So that is, you have in physical design, the flow is like first we do floor planning, then we do placement, then we do pin assignment, then we do clock tree synthesis, and then we do detail routing and auto routing, detail routing, and then next we go for then next we'll convert the same thing into GDS2 file and we give it to Foundry. So in every step, that is before placement or before floor planning, and post placement and post floor planning, and before routing and after routing, everywhere you can see that we have to do static timing analysis. Why we do static timing analysis is to fix setup and hold time violations, and we check whether our chip is going to work as per the specification and as per the specified frequency. So, and there will be number of reports generated during physical design, either maybe in floor plan or pin assignment, or during static timing analysis. You will get number of reports like timing report, power report, area report, summary, so all these things. And since nowadays we are dealing with multi-million gate design, the reports are not like 1 or 2 lines. It will be ranging from few hundreds and thousands of lines. So how do we extract what is required? Say, for example, you have a file where you have so many setup time violations. So how do we cannot go open the file and check out each and every line where the error is, because any timing report will not only have setup violation, it will have other things like what is the worst path, what is the multi-cycle path, and which is the false path. So all the timing information in that. So in that way, if you just want to extract setup time information or setup violations, it is very difficult to check in single file, because one may be in the 10th line and one may be in the 100th line, or one may be in the 1000th line. We never know where the setup file is. So what we do is, using Perl, we are going to extract these files, like these patterns, you can say. So these patterns, and store it in a new file. So in this way, our process of identification of the problem will be easier. So in this way, it will help us in an efficient and automating our process. So not only in that, so wherever, even after the synthesis also, you can use typical Perl and extract certain reports and work on certain reports like power, area, or timing, and extract the desired information of your choice. So in this way, the Perl is very useful. So let us go to the exact, now we can start over with the basics of the Perl. So how do we typically run a Perl script? So here $, indicates the terminal where we are going to run, and for Windows, if you are using Windows or DOS, it should be C : and it should be greater than, and you can mention Perl and Perl script. And what is the prerequisite is that already the Perl or any other software like Strawberry Perl should have already been installed in Windows. But whereas in most of the Unix and Linux platform, you get the Perl binaries default when you are installing the operating system. If still the Perl does not exist, you can always download from the source, from internet source, and you can install as specified earlier. So, and in this video, I am going to we are going to use the extension .pl. It is a very good way of representing Perl scripts, because in Unix or Linux there are a number of scripts. So how do we identify whether our scripts are Perl? Because we have scripts from different shells like /user, /bin, sh scripts, csh scripts, kshell scripts. So you'll have a number of scripts over there. So how do we identify Perl is by using the extension .pl. So in this video, or in this hands-on, I will be using the extension .pl.txt because it's easier for me to read from text editor. So generally, whenever we are starting the Perl, if you are writing or entering into a text editor, you have to have the first line as hash and exclamatory mark, followed by the path where the Perl is installed or stored. So here it is hash exclamatory mark /user /usr /bin /perl. So here what does this indicate? It indicates that /usr /bin perl is actual Perl interpreted binary where the location is, and hash is for comment. So whenever you have hash in the file, it means the line is commented. So here you can see that I am going to check it out where my Perl is going to exist. So for that, I am just going to type which Perl. So here you can see it is /usr /bin /perl. So every time whenever you are working in Unix platform or Linux platform, it is better used if you are having this expression as a first line. So it means that you are defining your script as a Perl script. But whereas for Windows, it is optional and you can ignore this. and you can directly start entering your program or script. So let us move to the first program. It is a very simple program, and in my presentation I have couple of hands-on on most of the Perl basics. So here #1 indicates this is my first program, and I'll be using this syntax throughout. So #1 indicates that I am going to switch over from one program to another program. So here my first program is I want to display hello world. So this is the most simplest program that is possible. So here you can see that already I have written all the programs necessary for the video for Perl basics. So I am just going to directly execute, and I'll be showing the output here. So here I'll be using VI editor for opening and closing a file. So here you can see this is my first file. So this is the first program. So here you can see in the first line that I have used #user/user/bin/Perl, which indicates my Perl interpreter, where the Perl interpreter is stored, and you can see here print hello /n. As I can see, we have here /n and other characters. So if you are using /n, it means it is going to enter into new line after hello. So here you can see the code present here. So it indicates it is a default syntax here, and as like in C programs, you can end with semicolon and print this is my first program /n, and it is going to enter into new line. So now I am going to save. For saving, you can have the command like command for VI editor is escape shift semicolon WQ, and you can give exclamatory mark for force exit. So you can exit, you can save and exit from that file. So now to run the program, you can give Perl. So Perl should be always in not capital letters. So Perl. So it has printed hello. This is my first program. So this is the first program as far as this is concerned, and you can see here we are not doing any kind of conversion to machine code or something, because whatever we have written in the script, it is directly converted into hex file, and it is going to run faster. So what we got is hello world output. So next comes scalar variable. So what is exactly scalar variable? So here, as like can see, in generally in C, what we are going to use, how we are going to use the variables are, say for example, you have 3 variables A, B, C. So each has a different typecasting. So say for example, A is integer, B is floating point, and C is string. So we have to, in C program, we have to mention like a int A semicolon and real B semicolon and string C semicolon. But whereas in since Perl is a loosely bound language, we don't have any such kind of declarations. Say if you're choosing any variable, you need not assign them to either integer or floating point or real or any other thing or string, etc. In Perl, directly you can assign a variable to any value or any string of your choice. So it will store directly in the variable. So that is called a scalar variable, and it does not differentiate between integers and real or any other like string or anything. So only when you are manipulating that, you can check like it may be converted into any string or variables. So here you can see, for example, $A, dollar represents, for scalar variable you represent or an element using dollar. So $A variable is equal to 4, the value is 4, and $B variable, whenever you are writing a string, it is preferable to use either single quote or double quote. And here I have mentioned a string of words. So and $C variable is equal to 4.5, and $D variable is equal to an exponential function. So here you can see that for a variable I have used dollar and followed by any name of your choice. I have I have copied, or I have instantiated, or I have declared it as 4. One is decimal and another one is string, and one more is exponential function or floating point number. So you can see that I have assigned different types into single variable. As like you can see, we cannot do that. We have to especially mention real or int or anything else. So because of that, the C has a little bit disadvantage compared to Perl, because since Perl is loosely bound, it is easier to work with, and we can play around with the scripts. So coming to the second program, so how do we have a scalar variable? Say I declare $A, any name, equal to 23, so any number, so $name equal to Raghava, and print in double quotes, my name is $name and age is $A /n for new line. So, and you can see that I have used $name here. So it is going to look for the contents of $name. So what does $name contain is nothing but Raghava, and what does $A contain is 23. So it is going to print my name is Raghava and age is 23. So let us check it out. So let us execute the same thing and check it out. So I'll just open the program. So here you can see whatever I have shown in the presentation, I have already entered the same thing and I have saved it. So I am just going to quit without saving. So, and then I am going to execute. So here you can see that the text, the scalar variable has been replaced with the contents of it. So my name is Raghava and age is 23 is displayed as like what we wanted. So next comes single and double quotes in Perl. Say for example, you want to exclude certain parameters from displaying. So we can do that using single quotes. Only double quote interpolate variables and special characters such as new line /n, whereas single quote does not interpolate any variable or special characters. Which means in previous program, if you have used for print instead of double quote single quote and /n, it would have not gone for new line. It would have displayed /n also. So which means to say that it is going to display what is written in the single quote, but whereas in double quote it checks for a content of the memory. So let us so then next comes the program. So we are going to execute the same program and check it out how the single quote and double quote is going to exactly operate, and how we are going to get our desired results. So already the third program, whatever I have shown in the presentation, I have written already. So here you can see that in the first program 35 is 35, that is the number 35 is 35, but whereas in second you can see that after using single quote, that is $x is $y /n, it has displayed as it is. It has not looked for contents of $x or contents of $y, but whereas here it looked for the contents of $x, that is numerical number 35, and contents of $y, that is string 35. So coming back to the presentation, so this is the main difference between single and double quote. So as and when you require to use the contents of the variable, you can go for a double quote, and if you don't want to have the text replacement or scalar variable replacement, you can definitely go for a single quote. So next, now comes a problem where generally you are going to use dollar variable or $scalar variable everywhere. So then how do we really recognize a dollar symbol, that is US dollar currency note? How do we enter that value? Sometimes you want to enter such currency information also. So in that way what you can write is, you can mention dollar value equal to, in single quote I have mentioned $100. So it is not going to look for the content of the 100, whereas it is just going to print $100. If you are entering the same thing in double quotes, what will happen is that it will look for the content of 100. Say for example, here you would have declared $100 is equal to 25 or something, then the value stored would have been 25. But here, since we have declared it in a single quote, the output will be like the value of this object is $100. So let us execute the same thing and check it out. So in all my presentation, I am going to use VA editor, which is much easier compared to Emacs editor in Linux. So here you can see whatever the program I have showed here, same thing I have already written here. Using the single quotes, I am going to display the dollar information. So Perl. So here you can see the value of the object is $100. So in this way, you can print the dollar value also, dollar number, dollar symbol also. So next, operators. So what are the basic operators in Perl that we are dealing with? So if variables are nouns for Perl, operators are verbs, and operators access and change values of the variable. So what operations is nothing but it does some mathematical analysis, mathematical calculations for variable. So it helps in changing the content of the variable using certain operators. And what are the types of operators are operators for numbers and operators for strings. So what are all the operators for numbers? Here are, so plus symbol for it's a plus, minus, multiply, divide. As you can see, we have all the operators. So here we have plus plus also auto increment and minus minus auto decrement operators. So these are all the number based operators. That is, if you're having a scalar variable where you have certain operations to do with respect to decimal numbers or binary numbers, you can certainly go for operators for numbers. If your scalar variable has a string in it, then you have to go for operators in string. So here you can see that for every operators for numbers, you have equivalent operators for string. For example, here equal operator is double equal to, and here it is EQ, and for not equal to is equal to and ampersand, but whereas here it is NE, and there you can directly mention the less than symbol, but here for string manipulations or string operations you have to use LT. So like greater than and less than 2 and greater than equal to, you have certain operators for strings here. So we are going to use this now. We are going to use the operators for numbers and we are going to execute the program. So now the target for us is to use these operators and execute any script. So here you can see the same program I have copied here in a file and I have saved it. So here you can see dollar $A is I have given a value of 3, $B is equal to 2, $C is equal to 5. I am going to auto increment A to 4, and I am going to auto decrement C to 4, and I am going to copy the contents and create an exponential value, that is double star. If you are using, it's an exponential function. So A is a value of 2, and exponential of 2 you get the value of 4, and $C is equal to $A plus $B. That is two scalar variables, $A and $B. After the manipulation, it is going to store in C, and I am going to print the values of $A, $B, $C, and again I am going to increment. That is $A plus equal to $C is nothing but $A is equal to $A plus $C, and I'm going to print. So this function is for checking out the remainder or modulus. So now I'm going to exit the function, exit the file, and I'm going to run the file. So the Perl interpreter is going to take care of all the things. So here you can see the Perl, the value is, first value is 4. So here you can see that, so here I have auto incremented to 1. So this is going to be 4, and the first value here we observed is 4. So that matches our criteria. So next comes what we are going to do B is we are going to have we are going to square that. That is 4 square is 8. So 4 square is 16. So 4 into 4 is 16. Sorry. So 4 into 4 is 16, and you are going to display B as 16. So here we have the value 16 here, and then here you have A is 4 again. Now B is 16. You are adding both of them, you get the value of 20. So you have the value of C 20. So similarly, we have performed additional operation. So we are going to display the corresponding values here. So let us go back to our presentation. So here you can see that we have used for operators, that is for any numbers, we are going to display and we are going to perform some operations and store it in scalar variable itself. So next, how do we concatenate the string? As I already told, Perl is a loosely bound language and we can assign any strings to any scalar variable. As like in C, where you have to mention that the variable which you are using should be either string or real or floating point or etc. So here I have assigned the letter have, the word have, to $A using double quotes, and $B I am going to write in a double quotes a good, and $C I am going to mention day /n, so it will enter for new line. So then next, so what is the code? What is the code that I am going to, how do I do concatenation is using the dot operator. So dot operator is going to concatenate the string. So it will finally, what you are going to print in double quotes, if you are mentioning $code, is will be having have a good day, and then the cursor will be pointed to new line. And there is one more way also you can do it. So $A dot equal to, and in double quotes, a good morning. So it means $A equal to $A dot this value. So $A is what have. So have dot this string. So it will be have a good morning. So if you are printing $A, you can get the output as have a good morning. So let us check it out whether we are going to get our desired results. So this is the same thing I have entered here. So Perl, I am going to write the extension of the file name. So here you can see have a good day, have a good night, and so this is the thing. But I have not mentioned any space. Even space is taken as a new character. So if you are mentioning a space after have, definitely it is going to consider. So let us check whether it is going to accept or not. So VI6. So now we are going to edit this. So I am going to save this file. So here you can see that it has accepted our space character. So space is considered a character. So after have I have given space. So you don't have an overlap of have a previously what you have observed. So here you can see the space which is not there here. So space is considered as a new character. So we go for next program, that is arithmetic operations on strings. So how do we do the arithmetic operations? Say I have assigned a string. I have assigned a scalar variable to I have assigned a string to a scalar variable, and I have incremented it, and I am going to display the same thing. So we are going to run the program. So the same program has been copied in the VI editor file, which has the 7 underscore extension. It's the same thing. So I am just going to directly run the file. So here you can see the operator like A has been displayed as like in our program. So we have A here, and it is going to display 1 also. That is, you can have both string as well as a number displayed both together in this way, in this pattern. So here you would have observed I have not used double quotes here for $arithmetic 1 or complete print statement. It is optional actually. Double quotes can be used, or it is up to us whether we can use or we should not use. And moreover, if you are using a single quote, it will be printed as it is. So let me show like what is the power of a single quote now. So if I am going back to my program and I'm going to declare the print statement in a single so this is double quote. So if I'm mentioning the whole program in a single quote, so you can see that it is not looking for the contents of the scalar variable $arith1 and $arith2. But whereas if you are using double quote, it will look for the content of the scalar variable. So that is the advantage of single quoting. And we have performed operations, arithmetic operations on strings now. And let us come to program number 8. So how do we repeat a string? String repeater operation. So I am assigning a value red or a red string to $a, and I am multiplying the same thing in 5 times, and I am going to print $b scalar variable, and I am going to assign a string ba to $c, and I am going to multiply the string na 2 times, and I am going to concatenate all the string, and I am going to print what is the fruit that I am going to get. So let us check it out whether we are going to get our desired result. So directly I am going to run the program here. So here you can see that the output is red 5 times. So here what we have observed is we have declared red 1 time and we have used we have replicated red 5 times using cross into 5, that is into mark into 5. So 5 times it has replicated, and for the second one, that is we have $c, we have ba for $c. So here our $c scalar variable will be replaced with capital B and A, and we are going to concatenate with NA. So it will be BA, NA, NA will be 2 times. So BA, NA, NA. So it will be banana. So that is the same thing you can see here. It is displayed. So we have achieved our desired result here. So string repetition operation is successfully carried out. So next comes another program for escaping sequence. So why do we need escaping sequence? You can ask me. So already we have seen the power of a double quote and a single quote parameters, or whatever we are inserting in print option. So if you are using double quote, we already know that it is going to look for the content of the scalar variable, whereas in single quote it is not going to look for content of the variable. It is going to display as it is. But whereas you want to display certain part of the print statement with the $name or scalar variable and certain part without that. So you can use this escaping sequence. And see here in this program, I have just assigned a number 9 to $number. So $number is a scalar variable here, and 9 is the digit we are going to use. And now the scalar variable $number has the value 9, and print this slash. So you can see this is backslash $number is $number. So here $number, since we have mentioned, although we have mentioned in a double quote, it is not going to look for the contents of $number, that is 9, but it is going to mention the $number as it is. So that is the beauty of slash operator or backslash operator, that or the escaping sequence that can be used in between in a double quote. And whereas here in the second $number, it is going to look for the content of the scalar variable, because here no escaping sequence is there. Similarly, for example, in Windows, you will be having a path C:/ software schools / you will be having a long path. So how do you mention that path here? If you are using Strawberry Perl, it will be difficult for you to open a file without mentioning the path name of the path of the file where it is stored. So that in that time, what we have to mention is we have to mention an escaping sequence. Then it will consider this as not a scalar variable but as a path. So here you can see the path is c/software/. So the same thing we are going to execute again and check it out whether we are getting our desired result. So Perl 9_.pl. So this number is 9. The path is c:/software. So here you can see that dollar number is retained as per our specification or as per our required specification. So now let us go back to the presentation. So we got the dollar number as it is without giving a single quote, and we could able to depict the path, Windows path, as it is. Although here 2 slashes are there, 1 slash is for escaping sequence and 1 more slash is for path. So next, line oriented coding. So Perl supports specification of string spanning multiple files. So if there is a file where more number of lines are there, that time you can go for this marker. You can see here double less than marker here. So if you are using this marker, it's a line oriented coding. So let us see the hands-on for the same. So here we have a program. So I'm going to print and I'm going to use this line oriented coding operator, and this is the string called VLSI. So $string, this is Raghava. I'm learning Perl. Perl is good scripting language for VLSI. So this is the complete string that spans 2 lines. So now let us check it out. What will be the desired output for us? So Perl. So let us check it out. There is an error here. Okay, we'll move forward and debug this program later, but the desired result will be in this form. This is Raghava. I am learning Perl. Perl is good scripting language for VLSI. That is, it looks for the pattern where VLSI is there. So that is this file, and it is going to print the entire file content. So next comes arrays or array variables. So as like in C, we don't have any such complex instructions. In C we have very complex to play with array, but whereas in Perl, as like scalar variables, it is very easy and we can easily do operations on arrays. So we have array variable here. An array is a variable that stores an ordered list of scalar values or scalar variables, you can see. So an array here can consist of any digit or any string or anything of or any decimal or anything of your choice which you want to display. So array can have mix and match of any different types of data types. As like you can see, if you are declaring array for a floating point, you should have only floating point numbers. But whereas here in Perl scripting or Perl programming, you can use this array and you can include the list of elements to be of mix and match types. So, and an array variable will be preceded by an @ symbol. So @ sign. Previously we saw in scalar variable we used to depict using dollar followed by any name. In array variables we are going to follow the similar syntax, that is we are going to use @ followed by any name. So this means we have created an array variable. So to refer to a single element of an array, you will use the $sign with the variable name followed by the index of the element in square bracket. So as I can see, the Perl has retained the same syntax and formats for as like in C programming languages, where you are going to mention, like if it is an array from 0 is to 10, A square bracket 0 is to 10, you will be having like here, if you want to access the first element, you can mention in the bracket the element number. So the same characteristics has been retained here in this Perl also. So here you can see the array variable here. So how we are going to now learn about how array basics. So here I have declared an array L1. So here you can see my syntax @L1 equal to, and you can use the bracket here, traditional bracket, curly bracket, and I have included 4 elements. So you can, between 2 elements you can mention using comma, and you can have here, so I have mentioned here 4 variables, that is 10, 20, 30, 40. Similarly, I have mentioned here red, blue, green, 3 strings I have mentioned. Here you can see I have some strings I have used double quotes, and 1 string I have used single quote. It really does not matter if you are using double quote or single quote, because you are not looking for any variable as such. So here, and you can have the beauty about the Perl is that you can have continuation also. So if I am mentioning 10 ... 15, it is going to read values from 10 to 15, and I am going to print all these arrays now. So then if again I am going to use, again I have generated a new array and I have written from I to U, it has to print all the letters. So Perl is going to understand the same thing, and according to our specification it is going to display the result, desired result. So here you can see in this line @array5, and what I have done is, already I have a string array here. So I have used this array, and along with that I want to display one more color, yellow. So what I have done, I have just added the same string here followed by a new same array here followed by a new string. So I am going to display. So ultimately if I am displaying this that is L5 array, @L5 array, so it is going to display as red, blue, green, yellow. So in that way we are going to display all the 4 elements in the array. And next I am going to print a new variable, that is $new. So I am going to display here L4 array element number 17. So L4 element and element number 14. So I can access each and every element in an array as like in C language. That is the beauty about this Perl scripting. So next I am going to display what are the different elements. If I want, I can print the new elements also. So typically for this output, what we have to get is, for the first array it has to display what are the elements, what are the digits that I have written here, 4 elements, 10, 20, 30, 40. And for I2 we have to get red, blue, green, and for I3 we have to get the digital numbers from 10 to 15. For I4 we have to get all the alphabets of English, that is A, Z, and for concatenation, that is for copying the new string, we should have the I5 value of red, blue, green, yellow. So let us now check whether we are getting the desired output or not. So directly I am going to execute this program, because I have already written the program in the file and I have stored it. So here you can see my 10, 20, 30, 40 is displayed, red, blue, green is displayed, and 10 to 50 is displayed, and ABC A to Z is displayed, and red, blue, green, yellow is displayed. And also you can see here I have displayed couple of new elements, that is element number 17, 14, 18, 4 and 18. So what it has ultimately displayed for us is 10 red roses. So that is, I have used the characters from this array, that is this array, I3 array. So in that way I have accessed these arrays and I have displayed the the word roses using the required elements. So let us go to next program, quote word. So every time we are declaring an array and we are writing each element in double quotes. So double quote red, double quote 3, or double quote green, double quote 4. We used to write in double quote. So it really is very complex for writing each element. Say for example, if you have any timing script, you may be having an array with n number of elements in it, or n number of memory elements in it, if you are accessing some memory file or something like that. So that time you will be having more variables. So you cannot write everything in a double quotes if you want to declare in an array. So the Perl has a quote word syntax. So you can see here QW for quote word and followed by the array elements. And if you are printing this Perl at the rate of array, you are going to get the desired result here. So now we can also copy from one array to another array also. So you can see array 1 has been copied to array 2. And if you want, we can copy in such a way that we can add few scalar variables in between strings or digits. So it can be 1. So I have added here 1, blue 2, and it will be at the rate of array 2 will be same as array. So it will be red 3, green 4, and yellow 5. So I am going to print array 2 and array 3. So you can see our desired result. And also, if you want to add any string before copying into new array, you can do in the same format. That is, you can use the same array name here, and you can include start. So it will be start array 3. Array 3 value will be all these things. And even you can exceed the value, that is array 3 comma end. If you are going to enter, so it is going to mention the complete string. That is, complete string is the update string. Updated array will be at the rate of array 3 will be with the start option. So you'll have start followed by all these elements and end. So here you can see the corresponding result. Now let us check the same thing whether it is going to work in a desired way. So the same thing I have copied. So let me just push without saving. So now Perl. So here you can see that as per our desired result, first it has displayed our the result of array, that is array 1. This again, since array 1 is copied to array 2, the value of array 2 is showed here. And here I have added few elements here. So along with the updated element list, it is showing here. And here I have included start at the beginning of an array, so it has accepted. And I have mentioned an end string under the array as like here, and it is depicted. So whatever the desired results we have done manipulations using the quote word operator, it is same as the one if you are using the double quotes. So you can see we have achieved our desired result. So next, array assignment and swap operation. Here in Perl, you can do swap operation very easily, but whereas in C programming, it takes 2-3 instructions more compared to Perl. So here what I have done is I have listed all the elements under one roof, that is $x, $y, $z are all scalar variables, and I have assigned one a and hello respectively. And I have displayed what is $x, what is $y, and what is $z. And now I have to swap the contents of $x and $y. So what I will be doing is I will not be copying this $x and $y to new scalar variables or anything. Directly I am going to swap them using this instruction $x, $y equal to $y, $x. It parallelly moves the $x value to $y and $y value to $x. So this is the swap operation on scalar variables. Now if I am printing the same thing, we can observe the exchanged values. Also, if you are writing in this way, that is scalar variables, in between you have an array and you have one more scalar variable, so it is going to assign $x can be only one element, so one is going to be assigned to $x. At the rate of array is going to be assigned with 2, 3, 4, and $z is going to be assigned with 5. So if you are printing the same thing, you are going to observe that the scalar variables and arrays will be accordingly assigned. So, but whereas we have to keep in mind that array swapping is not possible here, because array has number of elements, and we have to look like some arrays may contain more elements compared to another array. Say one array has 3 elements and another array has 2 elements only. So how we can perform swap operation for the array which has different number of index? We cannot do. So as a reason, the array swapping is not possible here. But here we have checked out that the scalar variables swapping of elements is possible. So here you can see at the rate of array1 equal to 1020, at the rate of array2 is AB. So if I am writing in this way and I am printing, definitely you will not observe the changes here. So let us execute the same thing and check it out. So I have copied the same program in this file. So I am going to execute the same thing. So here you can see that our desired result is as it is, and array swapping also could not be possible, and it is retained A, B and 1020. So here you can see that $x is 1, that is first element. It has not taken any other element with it, and at the rate A, it has taken actually all the elements, because we have not mentioned any cutoff point here. So that's why at the rate of array has taken elements 2, 3, 4, 5. But whereas Z is, it has not taken anything, because the array A has taken all the characters. So how do we now that we know how to play with the array and its elements, so how do we exactly find the size of an array? This is also used to program that we want to look for in a day-to-day scripting activities. So now I have mentioned the list or an array with at the rate list equal to, I have mentioned the names, I have mentioned the digits 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So $first is again a scalar variable, and I am going to access the first location. That is, the index of the first location is 0. So 1 I am going to access now, first element. So $first will be 1 now. $last will be 4. That is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it will be 9. So $last will be 9. So I am going to auto increment the same thing using the plus operator for numbers, and I am going to display what is the first letter, first number and last number. So then I am going to insert new element called string called middle in between the numbers. I can do that, and if you are assigning an array to any scalar variable, it is going to put the size of an array. That is, it will tell you how many elements are there in an array. So let us now check out whether exactly we can find the size of the element or not. So here you can see I have assigned at the rate list to $size. $size is an array variable, and I have asked it to print, that is, size of an array is $size. So let's check if $size is replaced by the number of elements in the array list. That should be 5. So let us run and check it out. Yes. So we have successfully incremented a value that is an element here, and we have displayed the first. We have displayed the first element. We have displayed the last element successfully, and we have auto incremented the middle element once, and we have replaced the middle element with the string middle, and we have displayed the size of an array. So that is, the value is 5. That is 1, 3, middle, 7, 9. So we have here 5 elements. So the size of the array is 5. So so it's a very simple to display the size of an array easily. So we have obtained our exact results. So next, how do we access the index of the last element? How do we know that? Because sometimes the string will be so long, and we cannot check, we cannot find the size of an array. And if you want to access the last element, how do we do that? Are there any special characters are there for that? Yes. In Perl, there is a special character called hash. Hash is typically for comment, but if you are using after dollar symbol, it means it has some significance. That means it indicates the last element index. So here you can see I have mentioned 3 arrays. So first array is, contains 5 elements, second array contains 8 elements, and third array contains nil elements or no elements. So I am trying to print the last element index. So I have mentioned here $g/n for new line. So it is going to print what is the index of the last element 5. And in the second case, that is for array E, it is going to print like slash, I have used the escaping sequence here, /$e, last element index is. It is going to look for the index of the last element. As in case for an empty array also, it is going to look for which is the last element. So let us check it out whether whether we are able to successfully find the index of the last element or not. So the same program has been implemented there. We are going to directly run the same. So here you can see the since the first element has first array has 5 elements, but the index of the last element is 4, because the index of first element is 0, index of second element is 1, like that index of the fifth element will be 4. And you can see in the second array the value is, the last element index is 7. There are 8 elements and the last one index is 7. And for an empty array you can see the default index will be -1. So if you are mentioning an array without any elements, the index of the last element will be -1. So that syntax will be that is the Perl default value if you are not mentioning any elements in an array. So next we come to shift and unshift operations. So as like in C program we have shift and unshift operations. Here in Perl also we have incorporated the Perl has incorporated the same features as the C programming. So here we have shift and unshift operation. So here you can see that we can shift certain values and we can unshift certain values. So the shift value typically deals with the top of the array, that is during the start element of the array. But whereas unshift will replace the first element of an array. So here you can see that the manipulations, shift and unshift operators are going to work only on the first element. So we are doing a manipulation on the first element. So shift and unshift is very useful in that way. So we are going to execute the same thing and we'll check it out whether we can do some manipulations on the first element of an array. So here I have declared the syntax, the Perl interpreter syntax here, that is #bang. So exclamatory mark we call in Unix as a BANG, and #pound we can call it. So #pound / the Perl interpreter path. And we have an array called color, and in quote word, instead of quoting for red double quote and for blue double quotes, I'm just mentioning QW, which we have already learned in previous presentations or previous slides. So here the array has 4 elements now. So now I'm going to shift @color or shift array. So what it is going to do is it is going to remove the first element and store it in $first. So if I'm using print, first element is $first and array is color. So it will print our first element, that is red. So in that way we can access the first element. Next, unshift operation. So @color white. So this is the default syntax. So if you want to shift any operation, the syntax should be scalar variable followed by an equal to operator and a shift keyword and an array name or array which you have declared. But for unshift we have declared everything in brackets. We have to mention array first followed by a comma and in double quotes whatever the desired string or variables that you are going to mention, you can mention here. So it is going to add the element white at the first space or first index in the array color. So we are printing the same thing. So let us now check it out whether we have achieved our desired result. So the same thing I have created here. So here you can see shift here, the hash followed by this is nothing but it's a command line. So if you are deleting this hash, be careful because it thinks it is a command. So better if you are writing anything or if you want to write anything in editor, better mention it after the hash found sign. And here you can see that I mentioned the same program as it is. Now we are going to check out whether we are getting the desired result or not. So first element is red. So since in an array the first element, there were 4 elements, red, blue, green, yellow, and we could successfully remove the first element from the array and print only 3 elements. Now the new array has only 3 elements here. Now in unshift operation, what we have done is we have added a new string white in the array. So it is going to enter into first index. So it will be white, blue, green, yellow. So shift and unshift operations are very useful in case you are dealing with an array if you are working on arrays. So similarly, we are having shift and unshift operators for first element with index 0. We have push and pop operation, as I can see, which accesses the bottom of the array or the last element. So whatever the manipulations which we are doing will be the bottom, will be the last element of an array. So here pop removes the last element of an array, as like in shift, which removes the first element of an array, and push replaces the last element of an array, as like unshift, which replaces the first element of an array. So you can see here both are similar. Even the syntax are similar, how you represent, but only thing is shift and unshift are going to work for first elements, whereas push and pop are going to work for last elements of an array. So next we are going to check the same thing, whether we can do manipulations of in the last index or last element in an array. So let us check it out. The same program I have copied. So you can see the last element, previously the array was red, blue, green, yellow, and the last element was successfully accessed, that is yellow was removed using pop operation, and we have the array has only 3 elements. And then next, using push operator, we are going to introduce white in the last location, last index. So now array has 4 values, so red, blue, green, and white. So instead of yellow, it is white. So now we are going to learn more about arrays now. So how do we do a reverse of an array? So we can use a typical reverse operator here. So a reverse at the rate of array whatever we have done, and we have to print. So let us check whether we are obtaining our desired result. So in the array, so you can see it is the order of the elements is area power timing. So after reverse, that is at the rate REV, the order is going to change. So order is going to be timing power area. So because area power timing is converted to power timing, and in timing per area. So we have an array. It is very simple, as like you can see, where we have to struggle with arranging the index, for loop, all those things. This is very simple, and we can do the array manipulations very easily. So as I can see, we need to have the strong sorting techniques here. But in C we have number of sorting techniques like bubble sort, all these things. But whereas in Perl, the basic sort, what it does is based on the lexical conventions. That is lexicographical conventions. That we'll deal with it later. So let me start over this program, whatever I have implemented. So I have declared an array, and I have sorted an array, and I have printed the array. So here an array is in the value of string, and array is in the format of string, and we have second array which has numbers in it, and we have sorted the numbers also, and we have displayed. And if you want to sort the numbers in order of the values, I'll tell you why we have used this syntax. You would have thought that using sort it would have arranged the numbers in sequential manner, but whereas this keyword, or you can say flower brackets $a less than equal to greater than $b, will actually sort the numbers as per the desired value, that is 1 followed by 2, 3, etc. So as I already told, the default sorting in Perl is lexicographical convention. what exactly is this lexicographical convention is? You can take the example. The best example that we get is a dictionary. So in dictionary, what comes first is numbers. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, any numbers. Then next up till 9, and followed by A, B, C, D up till Z. So these are the standard procedure that the Perl is going to follow. That is, if you have a variable as well as a string, variable will be, the digit will be printed first, followed by the variable, because according to lexicographical conventions, as like in dictionary, the numbers are going to display first, followed by the string. So here, in the first one, you can see that I have a number of elements here: 13, 5, 2, 54, 29, 8. So we have so many elements here. So if I have used the default sort here, so what my output is going to be? So the sorted words are 11, 13. So I'll tell you why. Because 1 comes first, so it is 1, 1. Out of this, which is the first value that it is going to look is 1. So it is 1 first. If you have any, especially if you have mentioned 0 at the start, it is going to take 0. So it is first, it is going to be 1, followed by, which is after 1 in the 10th decimal point, that is here. So this is the 10th place. So here it is 1, and followed by the second element. Second element, whether it should be 3 or it can be 11 also. So, but 1 is smaller than 3, it is going to select 11. So 11 followed by 13. So next, after 1, it is going to look for 2. But previously we thought 2 should come first, followed by 11 according to the value. But whereas it is going to look for 1, only then it is going to look for 2. So you can't have 2 first and then 11, because it is ordered in a format of dictionary. So the next, it will be 2 followed by blank. So 2 will get the highest priority, followed by 2, 9. Then next comes 3, 0, 4, 5, and 5, only 5, because after 4 you are getting 5. Then next you have 54, and then next you have 8. So in this way it has ordered, which is in the form of dictionary setting. And if you are using this syntax, so you can see according to the value from smallest number to the largest number, it has shown the output. So let us check the same thing now. So here you can see in the first string, we know that the ordering will be in the format of A to Z. So we have here B first, G, O, P, R, V, W, Y. So it is automatically arranged in the format of strings or letters in the alphabets of English dictionary. So the numbers have been sorted here, so as per the dictionary format. So now let us go back to our program. So we have got the desired result. So next we will go for slicing function or slicing array elements. So you can extract slice from an array. That is, you can select more than one item from an array in order to produce another array. Previously we used to do manipulations for first and last element using shift and unshift push pop. Now we have to use middle part or the desired place where you want to access few elements in between. So slice is such important function where it can slice, literally it can take the values of the desired choice. So the specification for slice must be a valid index, either positive or negative, each separated by a comma. So here there is certain format which you want to use, that is you have to mention which is the starting point of the index of the element and which is the end point of the index that you want to copy into new array. So for if you want to display continuous values, as we already told, you can use the dot dot operator. So the dot dot operator typically will give, if you are mentioning a dot dot z, it means the Perl automatically interprets as a from value a to z, that is a b c d to z. And if you are mentioning 10 to 20, 10 dot dot 20, it means all the values from 10 to 20. It is going to repeat. So next we will take a short program for splice function. So here I have declared a array report, and I have added in code word I have added the different strings, that is summary, area, power, yield, statistics. And using the splice function, what I'm going to do is I am using this array, and the second and the third element I am going to access of the index. The index of the second and third element, that is the index number 2 and index number 3, I am going to play with. So I am going to display the same thing. The reports are at the rate of repo, and the junk reports are at the rate of junk underscore rpt. So I want to access only the important reports, and I don't want the junk reports. So I am going to use the splice function to delete certain elements from the array. So splice is nothing but you are going to slice a piece of array. So it is nothing but deleting a certain elements from an array. So let us execute the same thing and check it out. So here you can see the reports are summary and area, and the junk reports are power, yield, and statistics. So what exactly it has done? So this is 2. 2 indicates the index value of the elements. So this is summary will be index 0, area will be index 1, and power will be index 2. So from index 2, you have to splice 3 elements, that is power, yield, statistics. So 2 means the start point index, and 3 means number of elements after the start point index. So a power, yield, and statistics are going to be displayed. So here you can see the junk reports are power, yield, and statistics, whereas the actual reports after the deletion is summary and area. So how do we read from a keyboard? Even in C, we can interactively read from keyboard, but here in Perl it is much faster and much quicker, and the syntax is much easier compared to C or any other language, high-level language. So we can typically read whatever the strings or values that we have written through the input keyboard, and here we are going to deal with 2 functions, chomp function and chop function, as well as chomp function. I will tell you what is this chomp function and chop function during the hands-on. So as of now, I will be explaining the theory part. So chomp function removes the last character. Say for example, in the keyboard you are entering some value. So after that you are going to press enter so that the script accepts that. So it will delete the last character whatever the keyboard has been entered. So, but whereas there is a disadvantage here. So what is the main criteria of going for chop function is after you are entering any keyword or any letters here, say for example you are going to enter 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers, number 1, 2, 3, 4. So you are going to enter 1, 2, 3, 4, and you are going to press enter in the keyboard to accept, so that Perl script should accept our script or accept input parameters that we have specified. So n will be, or /n will be, new line will be the last character of the whatever the input we have mentioned. So it will be, so whatever we are going to enter is 1, 2, 3, 4 enter. So 1, 2, 3, 4 /n will be the complete elements. So chop function will delete the last element. So here our last element will be /n. It will not be 4. It is very dangerous because we are not recognizing /n as a element. So that is why if we are not entering and if the last value is 4, we have lost certain data. So to eliminate this, there is a function called chomp function which deletes the last character only if it's a new line. So we have a great control and advantage here. That is, if the last character we have pressed enter, that is new line character, is going to delete the new line character and print array as it is. So it is a great way to input the parameters. So in this you can see I just already have just entered the enter your name. So $name, and the syntax is less than stdin greater than semicolon. So if you are entering this way, we have to enter using keyboard. So then next I'm going to print whatever I am typing in keyboard here. So whatever I am typing in keyboard will be replaced here because it will be stored in $name. Chop function removes the extra new line character here, and the same thing, chop, instead of mentioning in this way, you can use chop in brackets whatever you are going to read from keyboard. But whereas chop function has a disadvantage because it does not recognize the new line character, but whereas if you're going for a chop function, it is going to recognize our new line character. So you can mention chop followed by whatever we have written here for standard input reading from keyboard. So let us run the same thing now. So now enter your name. Now it is asking what is my name. So I have just mentioned Raghava and I have pressed enter. So my name is Raghava here. So enter your name again or enter any color. Yellow. So yellow is a fruit. Again enter color. I am going to enter red. So this is my favorite color, red. So here you can see it has read from the keyboard successfully. So next comes file operations. So see here we have open command which opens a file and returns the handle. As like in C, here we have to have complex programming to open a file, but whereas in Perl it is very easy to open a file of your desired choice. Just you can type the command open, and there are number of handles also. Mainly we have to discuss about what are these characters, special characters, that is $dot, $underscore and $exclamatory mark. $dot returns the line number in any file. If you are using the $dot operator, you are going to display the line number, and $underscore it will display the content of the last match. That is last match content. Say for example you have stored something, the latest match with whatever you have mentioned, that is going to display, and $exclamation mark for error message. So if you have any error message while compilation, it is going to display there in $hash. So how do we open a file? So we follow the same procedure here. So we are going to display the variable here, and we are going to enter the path of the file where it is going to store, and we will just mention open XYZ, that is XYZ is a file handle, and $fname. $fname is file name, and that will be located in /root test.txt or die in double quotes. Error is $ampersand. So $ampersand whatever error, in case you are while parsing, if you are getting any error, so it is going to display like error is so and so error. So $exclamation mark is going to show in that way. And then next, while I have mentioned the input characters, that is it is going to read the standard input here. So then next I am going to print $dot is $underscore. That is I am going to both write the line number as well as the what is the content of the line. So let us execute and check it out whether we are getting the desired result or not. So for that it is asking for a file called test.txt at the path /root and /test.txt. But whereas I am in this directory, so I am just going to edit the file now. So you can press I for entering any keywords in VI editor. So it should be /Perl underscore programs /test.txt. So it's Perl underscore program. So it is correct. And test.txt. I'm going to save the same thing. Escape shift semicolon WQ. So it will quit from VI editor. So now I have to create a dummy file test.txt and I have to type something. So I have just entered a random text and I'm going to save the same thing. So let me check now. Text.txt, the file has been created with some strings in it. So let us run the 20-second program now. So you can see that it has accessed the first line. One is this is file. Two, that is line number 2 is this is a sample program. Line number 3, it has also printed the line number also hello. So here you can see that it is reading the line number, that is it is displaying the line number from a file text.txt and as well as the first line itself. So $_ contains the pattern of the last match. So first line last match is this is the file, and second line last match is this is a sample program. Third line last match is hello. So $_ contains this is a file during first operation in the while loop, first loop in the while loop, and during the second run in the while loop, it is $_ will contain this is a sample program. During the third run in the loop, it will $_ will contain hello. So we have learned a great deal about opening a file and how to read from the keyboard. So writing into a file, how do we write into a file? So we have certain things that we want to write into a file. Instead of opening a file, making changes, editing, everything, we can just open the file directly using the Perl script. So again here, the syntax is default here. So $out equal to the path of the location where the file is stored and open XYZ. XYZ is the file handle, and here you can see the greater than operator here, sorry, the less than operator here, and it is $out. That is, this indicates open file. So opening a file will have the permissions as write permission. If you are just printing the file, it is going to be only read, but whereas if you are opening the file, it can have, you can modify the content, that is you can read, write, execute. So all the permissions will be there when you are opening a file. In case you have any syntax problems in this, so your program is going to terminate and it is going to display the error message or warning message that will be stored in $! So for $I, so $I is again a scalar variable that I have declared. So I am looping for 1 to 20. That is, I have used the dot operator here. So from 1 to 20, I am going to have, I am going to run it 20 times. I am going to run the for loop for 20 times. So I am just printing what is during the first loop, what will be my time. During the second for loop execution, what will be my time, using default variable scalar local time. So I am going to mention in every new line for 20 lines, the new local time will be displayed. So now let us check this new functionality, scalar local time, as well as opening, writing into a new file. So the same thing I have written in the file. Directly I would like to run this, but whereas before running, I want to edit the path here. So the path is not the same here. The Unix path is different and better to mention in double quote. So it will be /root and my test.txt is there in Perl _programs /test.txt, and here I have to change single quote to double quote, and the remaining program remains default as it is. I'm not going to change anything, and I've saved and I have to. So let us now check it out. So now let us, so here we have, nothing has been displayed, but actually everything would have been written into a new file, test.txt. So we'll just open the file test.txt. So here you can see that for one, the for loop has run 20 times. That is, the looping has done for 20 times, and for each time it has mentioned the date, the time, the day of the week, that is Friday, and it has mentioned which month we are in and what is the date, what is the time in minutes, hours, seconds, and what is the year. So scalar local time, it is going to mention what is the current date, current everything about time. So for 20 runs, we got 20 time scales here. So for 20 lines, our operations have been carried out in test.txt. So previously in test.txt we had 3 lines filled with the contents. That is, this is a program and hello, all those things we had written. We can see that the previous content was replaced with new content because we have mentioned the loops from 1 to 20. That is why it has replaced with first line, second line till 20 lines. So next, printing a file. We have now checked out how to write to a file, but how do we print a file? Print the file whatever we have written here. So again we have to mention the path of the file wherever it is stored, and we are going to mention the file handle. File handle is useful whenever we are mentioning any looping characters here. So while is a loop here, so while loop, I am going to mention the standard input here. So in that way it is going to read from the file, and the file handle is going to switch. So here it has certain syntax here: close file handle name and open file handle name and dollar input. So this will be same for all the file handling operations, that is or, die. In quotes we have to mention when if an error comes during passing, the error is going to be stored in dollar exclamatory mark. So now let us check it out whether we print the file, that is test.txt. So again I am going to modify, since the path has been changed, I am going to modify. So there is no more a Windows path. So this should be /root /perl _ programs /test.txt. So here I have to change. This is no more a Windows path. I have to mention here file handle, and I have to mention here again a file handle for closing in. So here our printing the file operation has been deleted. So now let's check it out. So there is some error here, error in opening. So here you can see that the $ampersand, the dollar exclamation mark contains the warning message here. So something is there in line number 3 that is affecting our program. So here the Perl program is not small letter, it is capital letter. That is why it is not able to read the path. So now it is not here input. We have to mention the file handle in, because we have changed the file handle in. So here you can see that the text.txt had 20 lines filled with time information. So now the whole file has been printed. So next, command line arguments. See, not only we can run Perl scripts in the file, and we can mention some files outside also. That is, we can mention some parameters or commands outside the work environment or the any text editor. So that time all these things will be stored in RB, that is ARGB, @argv, and $_ will contain the last match pattern. And so if you are avoiding /n, it will not enter into new line. Just I have written it in a comment here, hash is for comment. So now what we are going to do is we have to run in this way. Especially I have mentioned here, you can see the syntax for running is Perl followed by the program file name, and I am going to mention certain strings here. So now let us check it out, what exactly we are going to achieve. So Perl, it should be 25th program. So red, blue. So now you can see that I have not included any new strings inside a file 25_argv.pl.txt. That is, the strings red and blue are outside the file. So argv contains, that is @argv contains what is written in the command line. So you have written something in the command line, so that is going to be stored in @argv. So this is a useful program if you're not comfortable with entering everything in a file and running the Perl script. If you are interested in learning the Perl in a command line language, you can enter the commands outside and play with the Perl. So we have already seen different types. There are 4 types of file handles: stdin, stdout, stderr, and argv. We have already seen stdin, and stdout is going to print to an output, that is a typical monitor or a screen or a terminal, and the stderr is going to print the error message. And already we have seen argv, it is going to read the file names and it is going to open them. That is, if you are mentioning any file names outside the file, that is in the command line argument, it is going to read them and open the same thing. So file handling, how do we do file handling? So as like I mentioned, we have number of file handles here. So the syntax for this will be Perl, the file name, followed by the two other file names. So this is the what we are going to display. So we are going to one is stored in the scalar variable here, and while we have not mentioned any value here. So and then print $number, auto increment, and $_. That is the pattern match, last pattern match. So now let us check the same thing. Can't open, no such file or directory because we don't have any file called a.txt. So let me create a small file called a.txt. Insert this is a file. So you can see this is a file. So it has accessed a new file a.txt also. So this is a great way to do file handling. So Perl has a great file handling capability. So next comes conditional statements. Perl conditional statements helps in decision making, which requires a programmer specific one or more conditions to be evaluated or tested by the program, along with the statement or statements to be executed if the condition is determined to be true, and optionally other statements to be executed if condition is determined to be false. That is, conditional statement is something like if else. That is, if part of the code is executed, the else part will be neglected by the program or code, and if part is false, it is going to be true for else. So it is going to run the functions for else part of the code. So the program for typical if and else is, say we have a string, we have assigned it to scalar variable $name, VLSI is assigned $name. If $name equal to apple, that is, if this VLSI is equal to apple, it will print this is $name or this is VLSI, else no name. Since I have already written here the value of VLSI and this $name is definitely not equal to apple, it is going to else part of the loop, and it is going to execute this print function. So it will be no name. Next we have another string, and next we have another value, and I have assigned it to $scalar variable. If this scalar variable is equal to 5, it is going to print this print message. And as we already know, there is no need for else statement. It is not compulsory that you write else statement. We can ignore that as well. So here you can see that for strings I have used EQ operator, and whereas for numbers or digital numbers, we have used double equal to operator here. So which we have learned from previous slides. So now let us execute and check it whether we are getting the desired result or not. So this is apple and number is 5. So we have got the desired result now. So else if, so similarly like if else statement, we have else if statement also. So quickly I will go through this also. So else if statement is nothing but you have if and number of else if ladders, and finally you have an else statement here. So this is the program. So if this is true, it is not going to execute the remaining part of the code, and if this is false, it is going to execute this. Again, if it is true, it is going to display only operate up till here. If it is false, it will go and check for next else if, and finally if this is again false, it is going to check for the last option. So now let us take it out what will be our result. So enter your ID, it is asking. So let me go back to my program and check what happened. So I have entered, say I want to display yellow. So I just enter yellow here, your ID yellow. So yellow is the name. So it has went to the third else if statement and it has displayed. So again let me run and give blue. Since I don't have blue entered there, blue the last one, or let me enter some unknown value A, B, C, D. So blue is because it went for the last else expression and it has displayed the result from the else statement. That's part, because it's not matched with any of these conditions. So next program is for while loop. So we have an empty scalar variable and we have a string that is assigned to a scalar variable, and I'm going to check whether both the strings are not equal or not. So then next I'm going to just play around and I'm going to guess what is the value. So using the charm function, I'm going to guess what is my what is the thing that I have already written here, and my country is $string. So if I have entered the correct string, that is caps India, then I am going to get my country is India. So let us now check the same. So now it is asking you to enter your guess. Say for example, if I enter Karnataka, so again it is asking enter your guess. See now next again I enter AP Andhra Pradesh. Now again it is asking to enter the guess. So the while loop will never be exited unless or until you write India, then it is going to exit the while loop because it is going to match the string India. So now the output is my country is India. So next for loop. For loop the syntax is same as in C program. So $i is nothing but scalar variable. Please we are initializing the for loop and we are giving some condition here and we are auto implementing the same thing. So it is going to do iterations for 10 times. So let us quickly run this also. So you can see that from 0 to 9 times it has done the iteration. So next for each loop. Same as like you can see we have for each loop also here. So in quote words I have mentioned a couple of strings here, and for each $str is nothing but, see whenever you have an array the same name, and if you are using the array of the same name str here and str here, it is going to find the size of the array. So here the size of an array is 4. So $4, it is nothing but $str is going to be 4. So for each 4 times, it is going to print the array. So it will be A1, A2, A3, A4. So let us quickly run through this also. So here you can see that A1, A2, A3, A4 has been successfully displayed. So next, for each loop for finding an odd number. So now I have taken one more example where I want to display odd numbers. So first I have a array with all the elements in it, and I'm going to initialize the scalar variable $count, and for each you can already see the same array I have used the $bit for it to indicate that I want to count how many elements are there in an array. So for each is many number of elements, that is maybe around so we have almost around some 10 elements here. So 10 times the for each loop is going to run, and it is going to check each and every array elements. And $numbers %2. That is, we are going to check if it is a reminder. So if it is a reminder, then it's classified as an odd number, and automatically we are going to increment it, and we are going to display the count. So ultimately this program will give you how many odd numbers are there in an array. So let us quickly run through here. So how many number of odd we should get? So this is an odd number, this is an odd number, this is an odd number. So it should be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So our count should be, total count should be 7. So here you can see the total count is 1. So as soon as you get one match, it is going to print the match. So total count is 1, total count is 2. So we have total count match is 7. So here you can see that in between we have even numbers also. That time the count is going to be remain as it is. So next program is the last statement. So we can use a last statement to exit from the loop. So here I have typically want to capture the response from the keyboard, and I'm looking for something which is not equal to 7, and I'm going to print the number. So if and last means exit if the number is greater than 3. So let me check how this program actually works. So for 33rd program, so now this is asking me to enter the value. So I'll be entering value 5, say. So number is 5. Say for example, I'm adding number something less than 2. So it is going to be run for infinite number of times, because I have exited from this loop and started to print the number 2, because it is the number should be greater than 3 and it should not be 7. So that's why we are getting an infinite count. But if you are entering the value 5, we got only display for one time. So this comes to the conclusion of Perl Basics Part 1. In the next video, I will be discussing more on Perl, and we will be dealing with pattern matching and other topics. So I hope this Perl Basic Part 1 has helped you immensely, and it will be useful for learning Perl, and we can play with the scripts, and we can open a file, close a file, we can read from a file, and we can do various operations with string as well as numbers, and it is very easy, and it is, since it is loosely bound language, it is, the syntaxes are very easy and convenient to use, and it is user friendly also, Perl. So better to start working with Perl, and it will be very useful for VLSI design. If you are doing any automation scripts like timing scripts, if you want to find a pattern for setup time or hold time violation, it will be very useful. So thanks a lot for watching this video. I will be making one more video for part. Hope this presentation helps. Presentation and hands-on helps you a lot. So I would like to thank each and everyone for sparing your time. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Raghava. This session will live at our YouTube channel by Monday. Thank you.